Thank you for watching Ben Television. My name is Sheikh Johnson. The program is You Decide. We give you information, facts, and analysis, but at the end of the day, you alone decide. I'm glad you're watching. And in this studio today, I've got three gentlemen. Let's start from our in-house researcher, Nati Yakwo. You are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and good morning to all.
We also have in-house political analyst Mazi Gossin Azu. Gossin, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Doc. Good morning, viewers. And it's my great pleasure here this morning. Look forward to wonderful and a lovely debate.
Yes, and for the first time, we're having someone up north from Stoke-on-Trent, a journalist and in his own right has so many pedigrees into his name. It's my pleasure to welcome this morning Mr. Tunji Ofeye, well-known up north in England here. Thank you for coming in, Tunji.
It's a pleasure. Good to be on your show.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we had the sad news of Sir Captain Thomas More yesterday. He's gone to be with the Lord, but this man spent 100 years here on earth, and the last year of his life was perhaps the most memorable. A man who decided to raise up £1,000 for charity, especially NHS, for the pandemic. And in the process, he raised £32 million. And that led him to be known all over the world. He raised up hope. And finally, he was knighted by the Queen. And he became Captain Sir Thomas More. And he has one phrase, always saying, tomorrow will be good. If you look at his name, Tom and More, it sounds like tomorrow. Tomorrow will be good. And now we believe that where he is tomorrow is definitely good for him. Let me start with Nat. Nat, how do you see to the passing on of Thomas More and how he has impacted our lives and given us hope?
Well, all the newspaper front pages, apart from the Independent, is carrying late Captain Tom More. I think it has an MBE.
Oh, well,
and
he must have so many.
Yeah, he has so many. He is well decorated, medals all over his uniform. When Tom appeared on the British scene, he was using his walking apparatus to walk around his garden, and he clocked a number of kilometers just short of his 100 years on Earth. Yeah, there he is. And when he appeared, Tom has become an icon, or he was an icon. Tom became the hope for the British nation. Tom became a warrior, a champion. He could go on and on. And due to circumstances of his age and maybe some underlying sickness with him, he was admitted into the hospital sometimes last week with the pneumonia, COVID. And the battle this time around, he was not able to win. But we thank God for his life. We thank God for his impact on the British nation, and especially the NHS, the money he raised for the NHS to be able to fight COVID. May his gentle soul rest in perfect peace.
Thank you very much for that, lovely one. Mazi, how did you hear the good news of how someone at that age could help his nation? And how did you take the sad news of his passing? Gussin.
Well, thank you very much, Doc. I think it's, I would say that his passing away is a celebration of life. Is an embodiment of gratitude to a well-lived life of a great man who spent most of his young age or young days of life fighting for the peace and justice of this great country during the I think the Second World War, and he has seen so many wars in his lifetime, and he ended up also fighting a war without gun at this time, and also won the war without gun, which is a remarkable achievement for somebody of his age at 100. For him to have lived so much and only getting to this age bracket for the Queen to recognize him and knighted him at his 100th birthday or so last year. I think this goes to show that you never give up in life. You never let go whatever destiny has for you. Continue to believe that, and as much as there is life, they say, there is greater hope. So every day you continue to believe in yourself, believe in your circumstances, believe in your situations, hoping that the best will surely come, either in your gray age period or in your bedridden situation. I mean, he had to come with his walking trolley.
It's framework. Yeah, actually, that's the question I wanted to ask Tunji. Tunji, I wanted to ask you, what lessons do we learn from Captain Sir Thomas More? What lessons do you think we, the rest, younger, now I'm very young compared with Thomas More, what lessons do you think we can learn?
Yeah, I was listening to Mazi now, and I think I'd like to continue from where he stopped. It's good to tell us that it's never too late. Some people actually do get established later on in life. And, no one should just give up and say, oh, perhaps I'm not doing enough. I'm just going to die, go to my grave a sad man. And no, it doesn't really work that way. Joe Biden is 78 years old and in the twilight of his years. And he's the president of the United States today. So for Captain Moore to put in his last effort in the twilight of his years tells us younger one that you have to keep striving. You can't afford to say, oh, I've done enough. It's never enough until it's over. Like the same football is not over until it is over. And the man was rewarded for that.
Thank you very much, Tunji. But the problem that he was trying to solve, the pandemic, had not yet gone. He has left us, but the problem is still on here. But we're glad to say that more vaccines are being released. As of yesterday, 10.8 million vaccines have been released in the United Kingdom, and more are still coming. In fact, the United Kingdom has been the one on top of vaccination all over the world. And but like we reported last week, many of the BME, they are still skeptical about receiving vaccine. And if a section of the community should receive the vaccine and the other is not, then we run into problem. The MPs have come together to release this video. Maybe it will ginger us as in everyone, to receive the vaccine. Watch what these MPs are saying.
I am a Labour MP.
I'm a Conservative MP.
MPs don't agree all the time.
But on taking the vaccination issue, we do.
Coronavirus has really turned our world upside down and taken far too many of our loved ones far too soon.
COVID-19 has exploited the existing inequalities in our society.
The pain that our communities have gone through is indescribable.
The infections and deaths have affected families in every part of the UK.
My husband and I had a mild case of COVID-19. Last week, I lost my cousin to coronavirus.
During the pandemic, I have lost an uncle to the virus.
We understand the fears, the anxieties, and the confusion.
We understand the genuine history of mistrust some Black people will rightfully feel.
Each of us has the power to protect ourselves and to help slow the transmission.
And now the vaccination is available. Speak to your GP or your pharmacist to learn more.
They have been robustly tested by some of the world's best scientists and data analytics experts and authorised by the MHRA here in the United Kingdom.
Get the facts.
Speak with trusted healthcare professionals and encourage your family to do the same.
My father, my mother, they're having it because they work in the healthcare sector.
It's proven to be effective. So if you or a member of your family is invited by the NHS to get the vaccine, please, please, please take it. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your community.
Don't let misinformation put you or your loved ones at risk.
My aunt recently had the vaccine.
My family friend has had the vaccine.
When it gets to my turn, I certainly will be taking it.
When it's my turn, I will be taking the vaccine.
When it is my turn, I will be taking the vaccine.
I'll be taking the vaccine.
When it's my turn, I'll be taking the vaccine.
When it's my turn, I will be taking the vaccine.
Let's work together
and beat this virus once and for all.
Vaccine. Why are some people not ready to take the vaccine? In a nutshell, Nat, what is the challenge? Why are some members of our community skeptical about this vaccine?
It's tied to some of the conspiracy theories right from the beginning when COVID-19 invaded UK and the whole world. And reasons have been given for people not wanting to take the vaccine, cultural reasons, spiritual reasons, or personal reasons. And so the government did not put up a holistic strategy in a campaign mobilization, sensitizing the people on COVID and the vaccines. And so people are very skeptical, depending upon the section of the society or the ethnic groups, especially the ethnic minorities. And it's going to take a real preaching. Let me use the word preaching to everybody to ensure them, to assure them that taking the jab is going to be very helpful, especially now that the jab, the Oxford jab, is being strongly recommended, that it is going to stop or delay or limit the spread of the virus, and it seems to might be the way out. And so the churches and mosques and more print and electronic media campaign on this issue of the vaccinations.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mazi. I know Nat lives in London and you do not. So is there any fear of taking the vaccine in Peterborough?
Yeah, well, it's almost the same thing, because the issue of cultural and religious misconception is misguiding a lot of people in the Bima community, and that's the Black ethnic minority, Asian minority communities, both here in Peterborough and also up there in the north and the Black County. People are reluctant, they are hesitant about the the religious connotations they're applying to the usage of this vaccine, the applications of the vaccine, with the people talking about things like the Antichrist number 666, people talking about a chip that is meant to control and stereotype human beings all over the world. And I'm saying to myself, what is it about the G5 and the chips and everything? Have we not been policed enough in the whole world that everybody is under one database at the moment? Is there anywhere you will go now in the world, especially in the advanced countries, advanced society, where you get to the airport and they just ask you for your fingerprint? Only putting your finger on that thing alone shows them all details about you, wherever you are coming from. So,
including the last time you bought a pizza.
In fact, some passport these days, so they don't even need your fingerprint. Sometimes now your passport is already biometric. So they just scan it in. It shows them who you are, where you're coming from, whether you are the original owner or you are the
they don't even need your passport. They just need a copy of your face by your picture.
So when people keep talking about this vaccine with chips, vaccine with 666, vaccine, these are conspiracies by mediocre writers, cheap publicity mongrels that are looking for media outlets, people that look. It's about you. It's about you, and it's about you. Everybody, whether you are Chinese, you are India, you are black, the vaccine is meant for everybody. There is no particular vaccine that was meant specifically for a particular race, ethnic, or nationalist identities or groups. So people should just accept the fact that we are battling with an enemy that is unseen and can capture you without you knowing, and you don't know how to battle with the thing. So if you have
let us know what happens. Let's know what happens from Stoke-on-Trent. Tunji, you live in Stoke-on-Trent, and now I know I have a friend in Stoke-on-Trent. I will come and see you one of these days for dinner, if possible, if you invite me. So what are the folks saying in Stoke-on-Trent? Do you think you have that kind of problem there?
First and foremost, Dr. Johnson, you're welcome to Stoke at any time of your choice. It's a lovely place to be.
Thank you.
It's a nice place to be. And coming to your question, it's the same thing everywhere, to be honest. You do read on the internet, we have lots of groups and subgroups online on and about Stoke-on-Trent. And you see that this is not just even about the Black people. There's generally this vaccine phobia. People have this belief that they just want to use you as a guinea pig experiment, but I do not believe so. And before the white and black issue, I think it's also deeper than the vaccine issue. It's a bit systemic, and it's been around for since you and I can remember. And there's this belief that white people want to wipe out black people. I know it might sound crazy or exaggerated, but the fact that you're a black man, you can't get a job for a reason you don't know. You're a black man, you can't do big business for a reason you don't know. So how do you want to trust a vaccine that is made by the white man who has kept you down for so long? And when I say the white man, I'm really directing this to systemic whiteness, the white hole, the white out. We're talking about the politics that favor one race over another. So how do you expect the race that has been kept inferior to trust the race that has been subjugating over time to take vaccine from them? So this can be difficult to pass on. And that said, it doesn't mean the vaccine is not, it's going to make us a guinea pig or anything. No, we should take it as Black people for our own sake. But there's this mutual suspicion. That's the underbelly issue, is the root cause of all this.
Tunji, I need to thank you for that one, because that has been the underbelly which no one has come up with, instead of all these conspiracy theories of 666 and all the rest, which I do not believe personally. And when it's my turn, I join the MPs. I will take it. I wonder when they're going to call me. I've been checking my posts, and they've not called me yet. I must be very young in this community. Anyway, let's talk about the politicization of this vaccine internationally. Over the last 1 week, there have been a row between the European Union and the United Kingdom. Exactly, the EU stopped the exportation of the Astra vaccine into the United Kingdom, raising up the bar between Ireland and Northern Ireland, which will break Article 16 of their agreement. And that led to a lot of problems. When asked, analysts are now saying that the vaccine row between the EU and Britain could be called vaccine nationalism, where you love your country more than the rest. And the EU has shown that they could bite. So they stopped the exportation of the vaccine into the United Kingdom. In fact, they argued that the vaccines, once the vulnerable ones in the United Kingdom have been vaccinated, the vaccines should be sent to other poor countries like they find in the third world, perhaps in Africa and Asia. And they said they were not happy that the Britain community is having more vaccines than the others. And others have condemned the European Union action as a kind of vaccine protectionism, where they're protecting their own and leaving others to suffer. So what happened? Now they come up with vaccine diplomacy. So people like Tony Blair and some other leaders have waded in, and EU had relaxed, and vaccines are flowing into the United Kingdom as we speak. But it was a brouhaha. Nat, what else would you want to add to that weekend brouhaha?
This issue is about the health of the people, the well-being of the people. In some cases, it's matter of life and death. And I don't think politicizing everything is going to benefit the society, especially the majority of the society, especially the vulnerable people, the underprivileged people. So I think the industrialized nations, or the West, should come out clean and to give that real assurance and to wipe out the skepticism of the people. So making the vaccine available should be a simple thing. They shouldn't turn it into a rocket science. And more so, Africa as a continent, people are concerned. The WHO is concerned because we are hearing of, it's not everybody who will get the vaccine. Maybe 70% of the society will get the vaccine. What happened to the 30% left? And I think the 30% left could roll back the COVID, especially for those who have even taken the jab or those who think are COVID-free. Will get it from, will be transmitted from those who don't have the 20 or 30% that will not be vaccinated. I think these are my concerns.
Okay. Yeah. Mazi, do you have any concern? Why is the EU? I know you are an expert. You wrote your postgraduate thesis on the European Union. What are the concerns of the European Union, and why should they deny us? And more importantly, why is Britain not giving countries like Ghana, Sierra Leone, Gambia, and possibly Nigeria? Nigeria, we understand, is going to import 100,000 by the end of this year, whereas other countries like Ghana, they are talking about 17.6 million. What's going on? Why is Britain not doing enough to help other countries?
Well, it depends on what you assume as not doing enough to helping other countries. I think the most important thing, like everyone would want to ascertain, the fact here remains that we are driving to a new world order, a new global international society where we're looking at a multipolar system of government, of politics. And this multipolar structure of politics, international politics, will bring about the dynamics of nationalism and identity creation among great powers. What I think is much minor, that call it the tragedy of great powers. You see, so you find countries like America, China, Russia, Great Britain, the EU will begin to showcase what they can do to deter each other from over emphasizing their relative hegemony over the rest. And this COVID is bringing that, is creating that platform. And you can see that the EU at some point in a loggerhead with the US, because the US couldn't give them the, I think the Madonna couldn't give them the agreed, is it Madonna, one of those companies, could not supply them the quantity they agreed before they started contributing their money to the research work at the early stages.
Yeah.
And the EU started fermenting their anger that they're going to blockade this, that, and then suddenly they turn around to Azetical and the Oxford team. So it's going to lead to, it's already into that point of vaccine nationalism, just like the WHO phrased it, whereby countries would want to serve the immediate need of their citizens first before they look out. Even what the EU is trying to do too is to secure as many vaccines for its EU citizens first before they can give out whatever is left. America is doing the same thing logically. America cannot, when they are dying in numbers and the new variants are appearing every day, and then you want them to be giving away the vaccine they should be giving to the vulnerable people in the US or in the UK. UK is got, as of 2 days ago, they started announcing the new variants from South Africa in the UK after trying to cope with the last one. Now this one appeared, and then they said they should be giving vaccines to people when they have not been able to meet up to 35–40% of their population with the vaccination. It's not going to be possible. So the whole thing is showing, it's going to show the whole world how much a country loves its people, how much a country have care for his people. I can't imagine.
But
I can't imagine.
It's a global world now. Let me ask Tunji. Tunji, is a global world now, and we should love one another. Love your neighbor as yourself. Tunji, do you think it's okay for Britain to take the chunk of it while others are suffering? Because that's the argument of the EU, that Britain is taking a chunk of it and wants to vaccinate all the 67 million people in UK and denying others. And then all of these vaccine nationalism started and kicked in. To what extent should we love ourselves more than our neighbors? And especially, please, with this mutation, there are 43 mutations of the coronavirus. How do we treat all of this at one go?
Thank you, Doctor. For me to answer your question, first I'd like to redefine this issue of loving yourself more than your neighbor. Unfortunately,
yes.
in the issue of this vaccine, that's not going to work. It's the wrong approach to go about it, because with the COVID-19, it's a case of injury to one is injury to all. As long as there's one man left with COVID in France, all the gains we've made in the UK with COVID will be a waste of time. It's just only required for that one man to cross the border and then come in here and then start the spread all over again, because like you said, there are different mutations. Viruses do mutate from time to time. It changes. Virus is a bit like a human being. It's a game between the man and the virus. It knows you're trying to destroy it, then it mutates. It changes its nature.
We have a problem there. Please go on. We have a problem there.
Okay. So when it changes, it keeps. So you have to hop the vaccination. You have to change it, and then that's how it will keep going. However, the real problem is this nationalism, the protectionism. All these things can work with trade, but not with the virus, because it's a waste of time. It's the same thing the global north are going to the global south. They're hoarding it. Like in UK, we bought like 3 times vaccine that we need. And in Africa, in those places, some people they're not even going to get vaccinated until 2023. So if you are doing about we going back into normalcy in time, then we just have to spread it globally. That's what Dr. Tedros, the head of the WHO, have said. Vaccine nationalism is a waste of time, waste of everybody's time, because all your gains you're going to lose at the end of the day. So at what point is it? So you said we're going to have it. We have a problem there. What problem is that?
Oh, I definitely. We'll be discussing more of this next week. We just have to go on a short break, but you don't go anywhere. You can quickly grab your cup of coffee or tea. We must go on a short break. I don't know if my friend Tunji will still stay with us, but we want to talk about insecurity in Nigeria and what the federal government is still doing. Last week, set up new chiefs, that is Chief of Staff of Army, Naval, and Navy and Air Force. But there's a new Inspector General in town. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
VEN TV, your ethnic and Africa-led television, welcomes your input, contribution, and support to facilitate our continuous program production, campaign for projects, and other media-related services. We have been here for closer to 2 decades. Thank you for watching Ben Television. The program is You Decide, and we are going to far away Nigeria. Far away not because we can link up with Nigeria, but far away because we operate from the city of London. We are glad to having someone from the Niger Delta. We will introduce her very soon while we look at the issues. She's going to tell us what the challenges are in the Niger Delta. And so I'm so happy to welcome the princess from the Niger Delta, Judy, her name is. You're welcome to the program. Mrs. Asuni, we're really happy that you can join us. You're welcome to this program.
Thank you.
Yeah. You are based in Port Harcourt, isn't it?
No, I'm actually based in Warri, but at the moment I'm in Abuja. So it's ironic. Okay. I'm in Nigeria and you're in the UK. So we've switched places.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Well, I've been here since 1979. So I've been here for, no, sorry, that's not correct. I've been here since 1972. So almost 50 years now.
1972.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, we'll come back to your personal Valentina in a second. We've been told that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has brought in a new Inspector General of Police, and we want our own man, Nat Iyakwo. Please, who is this Inspector General of Police? We understand he's an AIG.
and he's been promoted to the position of IGP, Inspector General of Police. Will this improve our security, Nat?
Well, I don't think so, because the new acting Inspector General of Police has been part of the old team. He's been a police commissioner in Delta State and Zamfara State. He's been in the police management team at the police headquarters as an Assistant Inspector General of Police. The main issue, even with the appointment of new service chiefs, the main issue is where are the equipment, up-to-date arsenal for fighting this insurgency. Appointing new people really it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't change things. What will change things is give them adequate weapons to fight this war. Look into their welfare and boost their morale so that they'll be able to fight and fight and fight. For now, this has not been the case. And so it's going to be a serious challenge because the expectations are very high, even for the new acting IG. I know the outgoing IG, or Ademo, who is gone, tried his best under the circumstances he found himself. And so the issue of new appointments really would just be a beginning. Nigerians are expecting miracles to happen. Nigerians are expecting that this insurgency war should end tomorrow and not December 2021. So these are some of the challenges the new people coming into office will face. And the politics of insurgency in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Mazi, to what extent will you agree with Nat that changing of chiefs and Inspector General of Police will not affect the level of security in Nigeria? Mazi?
Well, I do want to agree with my able colleague, but at the same time, I want to differ a bit with regards to the impact that a new, fresh individual appointed into an office holding can always bring a fresh air and a fresh ideas and a new method of doing something and getting a better result. Because I think the very big problem with Nigerian is the issue of people being able to design a different method of managing a system to achieve a different result that is more impactful to the society. But rather than bringing somebody new and continue with the same method and then ending up with the same result without any major or any new change on the situation. Like my able colleague said, the most important thing in the police at the moment is boosting the morale and the personal development of most of the policemen in Nigeria. In Nigeria is one of the countries, is one of the countries in modern day society where the police will have to pay for his own uniform. The police will pay for his baton. The police will pay for his own torchlight. The police will pay even for the handcuff. Because if he loses it, he go and buy it. He buy for himself a new one. So it's a situation where who is really taking care of the policeman in Nigeria? Is it
all right? Let us ask from those who are on the ground.
Our policeman employed by government take care of himself under the employment of the government. It's a very.
Let's hear from Mrs. Judy. How would you like me to address you, madam? Is Mrs. Judy Asuni, or you are a chief of Nigeria now?
I'm a chief, I'm a doctor, but you're very happy to call me Judy. Thank you.
I'm shaken. It's so nice to have you on the program. Please give us a fair assessment. The whole world is listening to you. Give us a fair assessment of the level of insecurity in Nigeria. And what do you think we can do about it? Will this changing of hands be the result?
Okay, thank you very much, Shaker. I'm delighted to be here because for the last year, we've been doing an in-depth study of insecurity in the South-South zone. That means the 6 states. We don't count Abia, Imo, and Ondo in the South-South zone. We have had a grant from the European Union since 2016 to look at issues in the South-South. And let me give you a little bit of history of the Niger Delta Dialogue. We started out in June of 2016 when the Niger Delta Avengers were attacking oil facilities in the region, and nobody was actually dealing with the issues. Nobody was talking to the stakeholders. So we put together a set of 50 real leaders from the Niger Delta. We decided to form a long-term Niger Delta dialogue. And over the last 4.5 years, we've had a number of meetings. We've produced a number of reports on all sorts of subjects. Sorry, let me get my camera right. From amnesty program, to insecurity, to development, to role of women, to elections. We had some very interesting projects during the election year. Here is our report on nonviolent elections. You can see it's in red to call attention. We had a very good meeting with women and talking about what is their role in providing peace in the Niger Delta. And then a 1.5 years ago, we had a big meeting with the police. And we had commissioners of police, AIGs, police officers from all across the Delta to sit down and talk to people in the region as to what were their concerns. Now, I was just looking back through some of our old reports. In February 2017, that is 4 years ago, we had a meeting here in Abuja on insecurity in the Gulf of Guinea. And I was looking at that because we've been to some of the foreign donors. There's a very high interest in piracy because piracy has really increased in the last few years in the Niger Delta. And it's a concern to all players, not only oil companies, but even down to women going in canoes who are attacked and raped as they are trying to go about their legitimate business. So a year ago, we undertook a series of in-depth studies in the 6 states of the South-South. And we did the field work for some time and then started presenting the state reports at town hall meetings. They have now been produced into a book, which we're going to have any moment from now. It theoretically has reached Abuja. And we'll be meeting with key stakeholders along the way to discuss this. So for example, these were the 6 state studies that we did. Cross River, Bayelsa, Rivers, Edo, Delta, Akwa Ibom. And we found that all of the states have certain problems in common, and some of them have their own particular problems. All states are plagued by kidnapping, cultism, armed robbery. The ones along the coast have more impact on piracy, oil theft, human trafficking. And we found some very interesting things, such as that I didn't know that the human trafficking is controlled to Italy by cult members who go from Edo State to Italy, and then they traffic people through Libya to Europe. We've discovered interesting things in Cross River State. I always thought of Cross River as being a quiet, secure place, but it's been increasingly impacted by people from outside of the country, such as Bakassi, people fleeing violence in southern Cameroon. People from Bakassi coming, when it was given to Cameroon, people have been displaced into other parts of Cross River. There are a number of street children who attack people as they go about their everyday business. So it's fascinating to see what problems cross the Niger Delta and what problems are particular to certain states. We've also found that I worked in 2004 with members of armed groups, and we found that a lot of them were based in cult groups. For example, the Islando, or the KKK, or the Greenlanders, or the Black Axe. Some of them were not cultist, such as Asari Dokubo and Farah Dagogo, etc. Were not cultist, but they became militants, and later they have gone into political positions. For example, Farah is now a member of the National Assembly. So you find interesting variations across the region, and you see the problem changing with time. And that's what we decided to do an updated study. We plan to present this to the National Assembly next week. And last week we had a meeting, this was the last in our current grant from the European Union, with the traditional rulers. Because one thing we found in our work was that the traditional rulers wanted to play a more active role in maintaining security in their kingdoms. But many times, the serving police officers or the DSS or the military do not go to the kings and ask for assistance. Instead, they will enter the kingdom without really asking for help with identifying who is who. And what the kings are saying is that they know the troublemakers in their region, and they can help to keep the criminal elements under control. But they need authority to do this, and they need some protection, because there have been cases of people who have disclosed criminals to the security agents, and the information has gotten back to the criminals, who then go and attack the traditional rulers. So obviously nobody wants to do that if they're going to get attacked. So that's a brief overview.
Yeah, we're getting to a situation where we have warlords now, and the role of the traditional rulers, probably we could still discuss today and maybe in the nearest future, because they've not been given constitutional role, and so that has hampered officials and agencies working with them. But of course, they needed to use their own discretion so that they could get to the root of the matter. And we know that some traditional rulers even collude with some of these hoodlums. Now, we want to discuss how warlords have taken over. Tunji, we're going to show a clip right now, and thereafter, I'm going to be asking you questions. Please, let's have these clip of Sunday Igboho. This is the guy who has been making waves and is respected even by governors. Watch this video. I will try as much as possible to translate what he's saying after a few seconds.
Hello. Òun ni pé àwọn Fúlàní wọ́n ń da àwọn fámìlì wa láàmú, wọ́n ń jí àwọn èèyàn wa gbé, wọ́n ń kidnap àwọn àǹtí wa, wọ́n ń dúpọ̀, wọ́n ń rèpù wọn, wọ́n ń ṣe yánmayànmá pẹ̀lú wọn. Ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn dẹ̀ sọ pé òun ò fara mọ́ wọn torí pé àwọn ará ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn lòun jẹ gómìnà lé lórí. So gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá àtọ́gbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àti ìjòyè wọ́n láwọn ò fara mọ́ kí Fúlàní máa jí wa gbé, wọ́n máa jẹ oko wa, kọ́ máa dà wá láàmú. Ìdí nìyí tá a fi wá sí ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn lénìí. So gbogbo ọmọ ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn níbi tí ọjà ọ̀dẹ̀ láwà yìí, àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́, Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kí ọjà ọ̀dẹ̀ bàjẹ́, Ọlọ́run ní ba ìlú ọjà ọ̀dẹ̀ jẹ́. Tí ó wá rí bẹ́ẹ̀, a fẹ́ wọnú igbó Ìgbùhánú báyìí láti lọ pàdé àwọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n ń gbé wa gbé. Bóyá àwọn alágbèlè Yorùbá ní o, bí Fúlàní ní o, àwọn aláàbò. Bóyá Fúlàní ní Yorùbá ní o, bóyá Yorùbá ní o, èyí làámọ̀. Kò ní bẹ̀rẹ̀, àwọn ò ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá jẹ́, àwọn ò ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá jẹ́, àwọn ò ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Well, that was Sunday Igboho. only yesterday, going to the forest of Ogun State. He was operating at Ibarakwa last week, and he was more effective than the state government. And if there should be election in Oyo State today, this man you just saw, Sunday Igboho, will win the governor of Oyo State. You could see the amount of the number of people who came out to receive him outside of his own state in Ogun State, and he was going. You will see that he's been padded, probably with charms, probably with anti-bullet materials, but he was saying he was going to the forest, and the people were hailing him. He gathered about over 1,000 people listening to him, and the governor of the state came out to say, well, he's a consultant, because no governor will want to offend President Buhari by saying he had gone to take someone like a warlord. But I think, in my opinion, which I want to ask Tunji, is that the security of a community is by far more important than politics, and therefore this man who could stop the marauding herdsmen had been more popular than any of the governors we have in the southwest region. Tunji, what do you say to these developments that we're seeing?
Thank you. I wrote a piece of recent titled, "Is Sunday Igboho the Answer?" If you ask me to answer that question, I said for myself in that article, I'll say no, because Sunday Igboho cannot be a law unto himself. Sunday Igboho himself is a product of a failed state. Unfortunately, sorry to say that Nigeria is nearing that definition of a failed state, and anarchy is beginning to let loose. Otherwise, why would you have an individual like a warlord chasing out other compatriots from the land? He keeps using one word, Ile Babawa, which in Yoruba translates as my fatherland. There's nothing like your fatherland. There's one Nigeria, one country. That said, I am vehemently angry too at the silence of the presidency on the marauding killer herdsmen. And that's what has triggered a lot of so infamy. To some people, it might be fame, but I say it's infamy of taking law into his hand. One thing about Sunday Igboho, he's got a style that once he goes somewhere to Ibarapa to begin with, he will start with a rally. And that is, once you see that rally, you need to start getting scared for yourself, because after the rally, they go at night to destroy the Fulani herdmen. I'm not saying there are not bad Fulani people, killer herdmen, but there will be good ones among them. And now he did the same thing in Ogun State. He's gone to Ogun State. He did the rally. Then the next thing in the evening, you see that so many cows have been slaughtered, all the settlement has been razed down. Now this is this has a potential of triggering a reprisal attack in the north. I do not pray for that, because it will be very brutal and our country will be on fire. Sunday Igboho is not the answer. He's been rude to the Oni of Ife, who is his king, his imperial majesty, has told him, Sunday Igboho, you cannot take the law into your hand. But Sunday Igboho is taking the law into his hand. He's even daring all of them because of what they made him in the first place. He is their thug. They created him. He's a man who has a genuine reason, but going about it the wrong way. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me ask Nat, how far will you agree with Tunji? The government created a lacuna, and the lacuna is being filled by Sunday Igboho and his like. What do you say?
Well, the details will matter very much, because what is happening in Nigeria since 2015, or even before then, the federal government of Nigeria, the state government, local government have not been able to provide security, the basic fundamental right by our constitution. The government have failed woefully in protecting life and property within that geographical area known as Nigeria. And as you know, there's never you can't leave a vacuum. The vacuum will be filled by all other means, and this is what has happened to our security. Since there is lawlessness, anarchy, anomie in the system, somebody else comes to provide an alternative. And they're all over Nigeria, starting from the south, where we have the Niger Delta Avenger, we have Tompolo, we have Asade Dokubo, we now have Sunday Igboho in the south west. If the federal government was alive to their responsibility of providing security, then we wouldn't have these people, just being thrown up like that. And now you don't even know who is who. So the issue, even the traditional rulers we are talking of, have failed. Our elected members on the National Assembly, State Assembly have failed. So to talk of Sunday Igboho, where he's a nationalist, a patriot, he is an activist, and people are hailing him. He's coming to do what maybe the Oyo State government couldn't do for the people. The federal government has failed. The military cannot defeat the Boko Haram. The police cannot provide law and order. And so this is the situation we find ourselves. We are in a situation where something has to be done immediately. There's an urgency to our security situation in Nigeria. That something must be done.
Thank you, Nat. Mazi, quickly, we have to go on a break very soon. To what extent have the governments in Nigeria, local, state, and federal, been absent from their responsibility, and therefore warlords are taking over? Because it's not the only one. We still have others coming up, even in Lagos State, deriding the government and yet being loved by the people. Please, in 2 minutes.
Well, I would say that this has been a creation of the state itself. And unfortunately, this present dispensation of our democracy has brought back what used to be the norm in the 1960s. So where police are secondary to the issues of internal and external security arrangement within the national boundary of a nation. And that is the case we are having today. It's a disjointed situation. We have a very porous security arrangement in our country. And since the introduction of this state security vote that the state governors uses to do whatever they like, rather than ensuring for the safety and the upkeep of the people in their state, the whole thing have skyrocketed into a different dimension, where if the police unit in your state does not obey or work within your procedure, you engage these talks or these young men who make themselves available as an alternative to the police. And then this alternative to the police are now the people now who, out of the money they've made from these politicians, are now becoming the lords of the ring in most of the states. You go in the north, the same thing is happening with Shakarawu and the Boko Haram and the bandit leaders and the cattle rustling members and this all that. Now you used to have that in the Niger Delta with Tompolo, Asare Dokubo, and the rest of them. You used to have that in the southeast when we used to have the Bakassi boys in those days. They took laws into their hand. They became the Lord of the Rings. You used to have it in the southwest when the OPC under the new Are Akakanfo, what's his name? The present Are Akakanfo was the head of the OPC then. And the Adams. They ravaged everywhere. They were like making peace, but at the same time distorting the structure, the security network of the state. And so this whole thing has been growing and brewing, and now it has gotten to a point where some of the state governors do not know how they can manage these individuals, because these individuals have amassed so much money and popularity among the young people. And the politicians need they need this big group of people to win election. They need these people to be around them to solidify their political structure. If they should lose any of these guys, their political structure will collapse. So they are playing a hide and seek game about how they can deal with Sunday Igboho, how they can deal with the likes of Tompolo, Asare Dokubo, how they can play along with Shakarawu and his book. Do you think that the politicians in the north are not linking their news and their game structures about political emancipation in the north with what Boko Haram is doing? There's a link between the political energy of some politicians in the north with what Boko Haram is doing in the north.
Okay, Mazi, we just have to go. We have to go on a break right now. But I understand that this man, Sunday Igboho, continues to say some terrible things at the moment that may challenge the Tinubu, and Oni of Ife. I mean, is breaking right now. But we may just say that we whether these people will actually be on his side eventually, no one will know. But Sunday Igboho is making such a headline right now. But we will go on break. When we return, we want to look at what other people are saying concerning the state of insecurity in Nigeria, and is a big issue. We want to hear more from Dr. Judy Asuni when we return, and we'll be showing you some clips. So we will continue discussing Sunday Igboho maybe next week, depending on what is happening. Concerning whether he's going to contest election will depend on him. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. This is Ben Television, and the program is You Decide. We're still looking at the state of insecurity in Nigeria, and we have this clip for you to watch so that you listen to what people are saying concerning the governance and governments of Nigeria.
Look, with a benefit of what has happened in my state, a similar program of a Ruga settlement was not called Ruga in 1987. The government approved land that was taken from the natives in Zangon Katav and Kachia local government and created a grazing reserve. And they call it Kachia Grazing Reserve. By 1990, it was changed to Laduga Grazing Reserve. And Laduga is a Fulani ward. And today, as I'm talking, it was an initial landmass of 30 hectares of land that was taken from the natives, no compensation. And up to now, no single native that is there that can even go there. If you go, you cannot even enter that place as a native. And huge development is taking place. Big buildings, big hospitals. You don't even know what is going on there in Laduga. And it has been surreptitiously increased in size to 70,000 hectares. And so if we have this Laduga...
70,000 or 70? 70,000.
70,000
It means
hectares.
it was 30,000 that was taken initially.
From 30,000 From 30,000, it has been increased to 70,000, and it is still there. So there is the plan is to replicate this Ladoga model all over the nation, thereby changing democracy, the political democracy, the demography, the economic demography, the social demography, the cultural demography of a people all over the nation, and Fulanize every place in the nation.
These are fears that you harbor.
These are fears. These are not only fears. This is something that is happening to me.
Yes.
I'm giving testimony.
Yes, this is something that you've seen
This is something that we have seen happen in Kaduna State, in southern Kaduna.
This is a
and
fear.
we, the land of our people, we cannot get there. We cannot go to farm. We cannot, this is the land that was taken over from the people. It was not compensated for, and we cannot go there to farm. We have become second-class citizens in our own state, in our own country, and somebody is saying that it is fears, only fears. This is real. The fear is real, and the replication of this model all over the country, and the intent is real. We have IDPs scattered all over this country. Now it is rainy season. Several hundreds communities are living in the rain. They have living in the scorching sunshine.
Yeah, that's what you hear from the people on the ground. No longer fear, but something that is real. But let's listen to our dear doctor, Lady Judy. You've had it all, and we know that many Nigerians are still feeling jittery. That is real to them. And so what will you say? I mean, you are a citizen of Nigeria. Please, what is the state of the insecurity in Nigeria?
Okay, let me give some more details about the issue of the settlers in the South, because I know many people, there's now a lot of emphasis on what's happening in the West. Actually, Iparapa, I happen to do my master's degree there, so I know the area quite well. There are discussions, of course, in the East. The Middle Belt has been affected, but people should not feel that there's not this issue in the South. Our research pointed out that almost every state has issues of settlers, mainly Fulani, and the indigents. And to me, this is so sad because back in 1997, we actually did a study of pastoralist farmer-herder issues. We had a big meeting in Gashua in Yobe State, and we had Mayeta Allah, and we had the farmers, and we had the state governments, etc. And they came up with some action points. That was 1997. I mean, we are now more than 20 years later, and we're still fighting these same issues. I think that the government has to take a consistent and thoughtful role in demarcating who can travel where and what they can do there. So, for example, we have not only pastoralists in the Niger Delta, we have young northern men who are fishing in the creeks around Abonima in River State. And very ironically, they're also picking periwinkle, which was always a job for Rivers women. Rivers men never did this. And now we have northern men in the creeks picking periwinkle. I mean, this is a real social disruption. And I think there has to be a concerted effort by the government to come up with some sort of a plan that is fair and unbiased. It can't be that you just give large tracts of land without consulting the local people. If they agree to give it, that's one thing, but if they don't, that's another thing. For people in the South who complain about Northerners coming to their region, I always say, have you been to the North? Have you seen the proliferation of Igbo traders? And the Yoruba are all over doing business, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a national issue. This is one country. People theoretically can live wherever they want to, but there need to be some rules of engagement for people coming into somebody else's territory. And this, I'm afraid, will have to come from the top, from the center.
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful insight. Nat, why are we not having a concerted effort from the top concerning ranching? Because I'm about to show governors and other chiefs that are complaining the complacency of the federal government, especially not coming to a position that many countries have come to in the 21st century.
Well, I think there are some basics that most people do not know. The issue of these herders and conflict with the farmers, the issue of cattle rearing, these are all private businesses owned by private people, individuals in Nigeria. It's not a federal government business. It's not a state business. It's not even the local government business. See, but the federal government of Nigeria, especially Buhari government, have taken it upon themselves to defend private business. And this private business are not even paying tax to the federal, state, or local governments. And when you find the federal government vigorously pursuing an agenda that is not known to most Nigerians, then that is where the problem comes from. The issue of Ruga is a private business. The issue of our waterways is a private business. The issue, anything you can think of, and I think the federal government should be sincere enough and hands off this issue of giving protection to these herdsmen or these cattle rearers or the Fulanis.
Is the president, or rather, is the federal government, is it capable of handling this situation or not? Because some state governors are saying they need their own local government police, state government police. I'll be asking that question to Mazi in a second, but watch this clip from a governor in Nigeria, how helpless he's presenting his case.
Since I came to power, I have repeatedly, and I'm going to repeat it again today, that unless we break down the strata of security agencies, particularly the police, there must, I insist, there must be a state police, and there must also be a local government police. The federal government alone cannot handle the security. It has shown that they have failed and failed and failed. The security has to be broken down. Where we copied this constitution is America. United States of America has federal police, state police, and a local government police. Where something is bigger than the local government police, the state police comes in. Where it is bigger than the state police, the federal police comes in. Where is bigger than the whole three of them, then the military is invited. The military is a last resource. But ours here is the military that is the first resource, because we have woefully failed. And I'm calling on the APC government to take this seriously and find a solution to it. And I'm calling on all politicians, both APC, PDP, and all of us that are in position of power to seriously look at the security edges. In this state, I've lost so many people I can't count. This is a chairman. I lost my own member, House of Assembly, Hosea Ibi, and too many others to mention. And as I speak to you, there is tension in the Southwest. Do we continue to sleep and keep quiet as if nothing is happening? Something is happening which is desperately needs an answer. I'm calling on the federal government, all the people that matter at the authority, those who should check our constitution are the senators and members of House of Representatives.
Thanks to Channels Television there. Mazi, we have a problem of security in Nigeria, shall I say problem of insecurity. And that is the governor of Taraba State making it categorically clear that the Nigerian police is no longer effective, at least in his own state. And he was even making references to other regions, including Southwest. We cannot run away. Two major things a government must provide for its people: security and welfare. We don't have to go into the philosophies and the dynamics of those two. What should we be telling the federal government that they have not heard? How do we go from here? Is it restructuring? Is it providing state and local government please? Please, Mazi.
Well, the governor just said it all, to be honest, but I still say that the major problem is still with the governance institutions in Nigeria, of which he is one of them. And I'm very happy that he's calling upon every of his own colleagues to sit up and wake up and face the reality and be conscious of the fact that it is their primary responsibility to provide security, safe, and an enabling environment for the various citizens of their various states, which most of them have failed to oblige to as at today. And for the last 21 years now, it has been in the most chaotic circumstances ever imagined in the last 50 or 60 years of Nigerian existence. The fact here, people keep referring to the Nigerian Constitution, likening it to that of the American Constitution. Well, I don't think that there are so many things in similarity with what we have in our Constitution to that which is in the American Constitution. Nigerian Constitution is about almost 60 something or how many pages? The American Constitution about 7 or 10 pages. So the American practice a very robust institutionalized system of governance with a huge historic heritage to it, attached to it. They have regional police, they have state county police, they have even small inner country home marshal or local police of people there. And they have this system whereby each state has its own comparative advantage in terms of economic and social challenges, whereby everyone finds what is the most thing that can generate internal revenue for them and depend on it and become more specialized in that area. Nigeria is finding difficult to, our constitution is an element of military inculcations. There's no genuinity of human nature in that constitution. And so that's why most things are happening and nobody is really knowing where to. The members of the National Assembly are taking advantage of the lacunas and the foreignness of that constitution to have their way without thinking about the goodwill of the people. The president is taking advantage of it also, because people know that if the actual constitution we have is a reconstitution of the citizens' constitution, the national constitution of Nigeria, many people will be sitting up, but the constitution will make them know that if they don't sit up, this will happen. But this constitution does not give most of these people the right. You find a constitution that says you can be a president with school cert.
If you are in front of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what will you be advising him to do to prop up the security of that nation, knowing fully well is the primary thing of a government to provide security?
Thank you. Do you mean if I'm to advise Buhari?
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly.
So if I'm in a position to say a thing or two to the Nigerian president, and I'm actually using this forum to pass a message to him, is that Buhari, you have failed in terms of security. That is the truth and nothing but the truth. And for you to resolve this, you need to look into the wider context of the Nigerian corporate existence. Can we continue to go on like this? No. And I'm not even just advising Buhari alone, because it's not just about him alone. Let's face it. That's part of the problem we always have in Nigeria. We always talk about the individual instead of the system. The whole system need an overhauling. We need to go back to regionalism. Everybody has been saying this. It doesn't make sense to them for a reason nobody knows. There's been the national conference. Late Dora Akunyili, bless her soul, and many other intelligent people came together, Nigerian people, to discuss. But yet this was not ratified. Are we so much of a wasteful people who never learn? and people like to do things the same way and expect a different result. No. So this security issue is just a part of a whole bigger issue. So the country needs to be redesigned. We're copying the American system. America is the system is so expensive, and they are a richer country. We like to say we are the giant of Africa. Fair enough, but we're not as rich as the country we are copying. We don't want anything to do with the British system. Me and myself, I'm happy about that. I do not like I believe in anti-colonialism, but must you throw away the bathwater with the baby away with the bathwater? No. Why don't we pick what is good from the British system and then what is good from the American system and create like a merger, a unique creation and have a better country that works for us, not another country we're trying to run in our own country. So we need to redefine Nigeria and go back to regionalism. Some people would like to call it confederalism. Some people would like to call it true federalism. Whatever name you want to call it, we need to go back to the units. It needs to be stronger than the center. Before I go, I'd like to quickly give an example. For instance, in the north, you have this ISBA. We say we don't want state police. What is ISBA? It's just another way of doing state police, which is even more dangerous. We have Amotekun. Amotekun in Ondo State, they say anybody can come and join Amotekun. They don't care anything. They even say Sunday Igbo, come and lead Amotekun. Sunday Igbo himself has said, I'm not a security man. Even with all his problems, he said that. So we are already having state security police by default. Eastern Security Network. Kanu is leading that from the UK, saying men at work.
But these local militia, they're not allowed to carry guns. The herdsmen, they're carrying AK-47, but Amotekun, I'm not sure they're allowed to carry guns.
Amotekun, they carry guns. It looks like a Dane gun, but it's still a gun. In the north, it's
bad. A Dane gun versus AK-47?
But both can kill, isn't it? It might be a different degree.
No, they've lost even before they started. I mean, let's be very realistic. Because with so sophisticated weapons, seriously, we need a strong central decision and action. And I wonder why we are not getting that from the federal government, because it appears the federal government is always is always very slow and the last to respond to serious issues. Maybe let me ask Judy what he sees to the level of response of our government leaders. I mean, it's not as fast as what we see in places like the United States and Britain here. If anything is going wrong here, I live in the United Kingdom. On the other hand, you live in Nigeria. If anything is going wrong here, I'm telling you, within seconds, the British government will be reacting and sending people to resolve it. Why can't we do that in Nigeria? Everything would fall to pieces before the Nigerian government will respond. Why?
Well, I must say that I'm an American by birth, and anybody who's looked at what's happened in the US during the month of January will be horrified. The whole attack on the Capitol and lack of security response there was just something that I never thought that I would see in my life. And I think also the manipulation of the security services by former President Trump was extremely disheartening. I have a cousin who lives in Portland, Oregon, and to see that beautiful city being disrupted by people coming in to chase away the peaceful protest is horrifying. So I don't think that the US can give any advice to Nigeria as to how to handle security situations.
No, come on, Judy. Now let me just before you continue, on that 6th of January, I saw the resilience of the House and of the Senate. They did what they went to do, albeit later in the night. And that's what we are saying. And until today, they're still hunting and prosecuting those who invaded the place. Why can't we be as responsive as that?
Okay, you have a very good point there. And it's true that the system held, even though there were some insurrectionists who tried to take over the Capitol. I think Nigeria, the whole structure is very wobbly. For example, policemen don't have radios, they don't have vehicles, they're not able to respond quickly. A number of people are not really trained in doing analysis. I've done a lot of analysis of conflict over the years, and you can see things coming. That's how I knew this was what was going to happen in the US as well. because there are early warning signs and there's conflict escalation and progression. We actually have a diagram for the different stages of conflict and what's going to happen next. Unfortunately, the security services in Nigeria seldom respond to that quickly enough. And part of it is the lack of infrastructure, like I said, with security gadgets, vehicles, proper weapons, etc. The other thing I think I would like to emphasize, though, is that when the security services work with stakeholders on the ground, there can be much better coordination. I mean, none of us want to have unrest and a high rate of crime in our communities. So you can mobilize the people in the communities to come and work with the security agents. It doesn't have to be only formal security agents. That was what was the traditional rulers were saying the other day. And we have done work with the youth of the Niger Delta in helping to prevent election violence. For example, we put together a group of youth leaders, different ethnic leaders, to help to protect the 2019 elections. So if you look at those elections in the Niger Delta, they were quite peaceful, except when there was outside intervention, such as the armored tanks, etc., coming in from political sources in Abuja.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll take that on board, and I'm sure the government officials are listening. We are not just criticizing them for the sake of it, but for them to take salient points and start discussing and seeing how they can improve, especially now that we have a new Inspector General in place, new chiefs of staff, and of all the military chiefs. Nat, are we going to see an improved the Nigerian security in the next 5 years? What are we going to see with all of these in place? Because when we return from break, I will be showing how the citizens of Nigeria have taken the law into their hands, and I'm not sure that that is the right thing to do. Thomas Hobbes told us that where there is the absence of the government, life is short, brutish, nasty, solitary, and only the survival of the fittest operates. So, Nat, just before we go on break, how do you think we can break through to the governments of Nigeria, federal, state, and local governments, to hear what the people are saying?
I think we have to redefine what each and every Nigerian thinks about security. Because the definition of security to you may be different from my own definition. And how are we going to achieve security in Nigeria? My initial say will be, people are not involved in the governance of the place. The few people that are calling the shots were not even elected. They are not representing anybody. They are representing themselves. And so if we really want to talk of security, the electorate, the people who elected our officials, should be involved in the day-to-day administration of the country. And let us be sure and clear in our minds, security for whom? Is it security for the governors or security for the people? Because this is the problem we have, that people are not being carried along when we are even talking of security.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go on a short break. When we return, I'll be showing you clips of where some Nigerians are taking the law into their hands. The Nigerian governments need to know, so that they will see that security is not something they can just sweep under the carpet. Otherwise, it may sweep the whole country. But we know that we have listening people, even within the government, and they will take all of these inputs seriously. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Ben TV, your ethnic and Africa-led television, welcomes your input, contribution and support to facilitate our continuous program production, campaign for projects and other media-related services. We have been here for closer to 2 decades.
Welcome back. Thanks for watching Ben Television. The program is You Decide. We give you information, facts, and analysis. But at the end of the day, you decide what kind of government you want, what kind of society you want. We have so many clips of the people taking the law into their own hands. And like Tunji from Stoke-on-Trent has told us, that is not the best way to go. But we cannot but show you what is on the ground, what is going on in Nigeria, and why the absence of the actions and activities of the governments are not helping. So watch this just one clip, and then we'll come back to discuss how to move forward. Watch this clip and see how Nigerians may take the law into their hands.
We are the DSS. We are here to tell this idiot, this stupid Fulani, that this place is not for them. They must leave our land. We are formidable. We are formidable. We have dealt with them. We have killed most of them. Their cows are dead. We have chased them away. These idiots cannot. They should leave our land. Murder them. Kill them, murder them. Murder them. Murder them. We are formidable. We are formidable. This place is not for them. We cannot leave them. Cut them! Cut them! Cut them! There's no place for them. There's no place for them. So long as Biafra land is concerned, there's no place for you. There's no place for you. There's no place for you. We cannot allow you to stay in our land. You kill our women. You rape them. Eh? You think you got scot-free? There's no place for you. We will kill you. We will kill you. Go and tell your brothers, wherever they are. People who are mad, you are stupid. You don't crazy. We won't leave you.
Well, that was gruesome. That was horrible. But it's the reality of our time. When the government decides to bury its own head in its own carpet, that's what we have. I don't know whether the governments have seen this video, which has gone the round in the social media, but it's beggars believe that the governments appear not to be doing enough. Well, we've been told they don't have the wherewithal, all the resources necessary. Probably not even enough. We've been told that it should be 300 policemen to 100,000 citizens. But in Nigeria, we have 300 policemen to 350,000 people. So how do we expect them to perform? That has led to NSAS protests where they wanted a load of security taking place in Nigeria without brutality. And we miss that era. Let me ask Nat, Quo Vadis, where do we go from here? Nat, you've seen that one, and that's just in one village. What is happening in other villages, we have some clips that we may not even be able to show on an international television like this. We just received some this morning, and they're not easy to show. So how else could we inform the Nigerian government that they're doing a lot of damage to themselves?
Yeah, thank you very much. What we have just seen in that video and many other that are not unseen, it is a clear indicator that we have a failed state, because the state has not been able to provide justice for all. The state has double or triple standard as to treating her citizens. And then when you have justice is for the highest bidder, then you have this mob action. Why you have mob action is because the people no longer trust the justice system, or they no longer trust the operators in government, or because we have cases where when they report a crime to the police or any of the other apparatus, you who is reporting become the criminal, you become the victim. And so there is a need, there is a need, a surgical operation, a way where we have the governance is for all and not for the few. And until such a time that everybody is involved in these challenges, we will not go anywhere. Things will get worse.
Yeah. Mazi, one of the things that Judy told us was that we must be very reasonable in Nigeria. If we just say, Fulani, pack your load and go from southwest and from southeast, how about the Yorubas and the Igbos trading in Kaduna, in Sokoto, and Maiduguri? How do we now reconcile them? Because action and reaction are equal and opposite. Then there'll be program, and the challenge we're having is not in unifying ourselves. The challenge we're having is that we have no responsive government who understand what should be done as a government. A government, we have been told, and I want you to use this one, Mazi, because I know you are knowledgeable. The philosophies of Thomas Hobbes and Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Thomas Hobbes saying that, look, the government is there to provide security of the people. Jean-Jacques Rousseau said it is a covenant that the governments must have with the people to produce a stable society. It's a covenant, and if you can't do it, then you have no business there. It's not just acquiring power for power. You acquire power to bring about stability in the system for easy economic emancipation. But what we see in Nigeria is the opposite, just destabilization, and the government has not been up to task. So it's not that tribalism or trying to cause a mayhem, but there's not the presence of the government doing something good enough. Mazi, help us out.
Yeah, I think is whatever Thomas Hobbes and Jacques Rousseau have said about the nature of governance and the principles of governance is the key. But then today, in modern world, some of the leaders we have today are very variant from what Thomas Hobbes was preaching about, or what Jacques Rousseau was trying to philosophize in reasons with social order and societal cohesion and governance in its reality and totality. But before I proceed, I would like to appreciate Dr. Judy, for being here. I know that our Ben TV team have been working with her and her organization back there in Nigeria. Richard Victor and the team working with you. I'm sure you continue to work with them. I will be in Abuja very shortly for my book launch, and I hope to come and catch up with you and then see what Ben TV can continue to do with your organization moving forward in Nigeria. Going by the challenges we face today with regards to what is going on in Nigeria and the failure of governance, many of us knew that when this present government or administration of Muhammad Buhari came to power, they came in without a vision. And a government that comes into power without a vision would like a direction. And that is the reason why, up to date, the government does not know the direction they are going. They're not knowing.
But the government, Mazi, wait a minute. The government told us, Buhari APC told us that they are coming to bring security, that Boko Haram will be a thing of the past. They said the economy will improve. They have that vision. So what happened to it?
No, there's difference between somebody telling you what he thinks in his head and somebody telling you a real vision. When somebody tells you gives you an emphasis of a visionary exposure, you will be able to know from the actions of that individual or group of people that they really have a vision where they are going. These guys just conjure messages for political propaganda to win an election only, and they won the election, and suddenly they won the election without even expecting they were going to be in power. And so even though they would be projecting to people that they have a vision, unfortunately or fortunately for them, they found themselves in power and they lost that vision completely, and so they lost direction.
Mazi, do you remember, Mazi, wait a minute. Do you remember when Buhari came to Chatham House here in London? Were you there when he said all of these Boko Haram thing will be a thing of the past, and he marshalled points out, and many people were clapping for him? You remember that occasion? Go on.
I was there. Even the first time he came to House Parliament, I was there. Both occasions before he became president, I was there, and I told people, no matter what you hear today, no matter what you are hearing now, come 5 years time, come 10 years time, you come back to realize that all these things are just shenanigans. They're all stories, because what we are playing now is an oligarch government, where somebody is the law, every other person is a subservient. And that is the situation we're having in Nigeria. We're not practicing any presidential system. We're not practicing any federalism. What we're practicing is an oligarch system of government, where there's one lord and the rest are his subservients. And that is where we're going. So they are creating an enclave for all their machineries, so that to be able to have that authority to subdue everyone that is within the system and become that phrase subservient becomes a reality. And that is why Nigerians should be able to wake up now and begin to ask themselves, when you want to elect, even though we know that in most recent time there is nothing like election in Nigeria. Elections have been won by the likes of Sunday Ugboho, helping people to carry ballot box and make sure they stuff it and then pay any people behind the bar, and election is rigged up and people go. The likes of so what do you call him in Lagos? So Olumo and Adepoli, Kunle-Poli. These are the people that win elections for people in Nigeria. The likes of the guys in Warri and then in Port Harcourt and in Enugu. These are the guys in the hoodlums, the boys in the hood, who helps these guys to get into power. There's the proper election. Because if there's a proper election, people will realize that they've elected people that they can question. There are people that have been in power. People cannot even call them and say,
you are saying some controversial things. You are saying some controversial things.
Honorable, why don't we have this road repaired? Some people will not even open their mouth and ask honorable.
So that's the problem of the electorate. That's the problem of the electorate. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Maybe next week we'll come to that. But let me join you in thanking Dr. Judy Asuni for coming on the program. And I'm telling you, we are honored for you to be on this program, and especially for the job you are doing with the good guys and Ben Television in Abuja. We're really, really happy. It's like we have swapped places. You being in Nigeria, we are, bro. I want to give you the next 3 minutes. Please tell us all the things you wanted to tell us concerning the good work you are doing in Niger Delta.
Okay, let me go back to the beginning. I first started working in the field of conflict management in 1992. It was a new field anywhere in the world. And by the late 90s, I began to be attracted to the Niger Delta, because I felt that at that stage it was a marginalized, underserved area. And so I worked continuously in that area. I got to know a number of members of the armed groups in the early 2000s and was part of a peace accord in River State in 2004 between Asari, Ateke, and other members of those groups. So I worked with these guys for a long time. And I think that they do have some genuine issues. For example, the area that has been highly impacted by the oil industry is largely underdeveloped. And for example, the roads, and there's no railroad going through the Niger Delta, except to go from Warri up north, but nothing that cuts across the region. Whenever I have to travel by road from Warri to Port Harcourt, for example, I'm in sheer agony because the road is so bad. So there are genuine issues for the people in the Niger Delta. And I think increasingly people want to take a role in their own governance process and in guaranteeing their own security. So I urge the security agents to try to work together with these people. After the presentation of our state reports, we set up policy advocacy committees in the 6 states where we are working. And these people have been very proactive in spreading the word to the 3 senatorial zones in each state and in bringing in other people. So we have a network of traditional rulers, respectable people like the members of the House of Assemblies, civil society people, what I like to affectionately call bad boys, people who live on the edge between legality and illegality. And I think they all have something to contribute in restoring insecurity to our region, to the Niger Delta, and into Nigeria as a whole.
Okay, thank you very much. And we'll definitely be hearing from you throughout the course of the year for all the good works you're doing there. Has anybody remembered this face before? Let's have the picture of that man in the cage. Have you seen this man before? And if you have seen him, where is he? What is he doing? Please show me that face or show the whole world. Does anybody remember who this man has been? Where is he? Who is he? Tunji, have you seen this man before? Why is he sworn an oath of silence? Who is this man? Tunji Stoke. Tunji Stoke. Have you seen that man before? Why is he that in a cage?
Yeah, thank you. I was just thinking about him actually. That's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, a fine intellectual, a brilliant lawyer, who unfortunately find himself working with people who don't appreciate him. Today marks exactly 1 year. He had a fatal helicopter crash that he survived. Thanks to God for that. And he's doing all this, but he's not appreciated. I like to quickly apply the allegory of Plato, which says liking human beings to gold, silver, and copper. Is a gold working with serving copper. So that's how I'll just leave it there. That is a square peg that has been put in a round hole. So how can it function? It's working with people who are not on his level intellectually. So it's clear, it's understandable why they do not value him, why the silencing is understandable, unfortunately.
But in the Western world, Tunji, what do such people do where you know you have something to offer, but your immediate boss will not allow you, or the immediate environment will not allow you when you are busting with something good? What do they do in the Western world?
In the Western world, naturally they will resign. But in the Nigerian context, you might want to be careful from not resigning. I read in Wole Soyinka's book, You Must Set Forth at Dawn, where Awolowo was being appointed. Pardon?
Go on.
Okay, when Awolowo was given a letter to come and serve in the General Gowon's regime, and Wole Soyinka went to meet him and asked him, "What do you want to do?" Awolowo said he's thinking about it. And Soyinka told him, "Do you know if you don't accept it, do you know the implication?" And the old man answered yes in the affirmative. Of course, he went on to accept the appointment. So in the Nigerian context, if you resign, in fact, the satellite will be beamed on you. You might be persecuted because your resignation, of course, to them is clear, is a protest. So if you want to protest a brutal regime, you must have a plan. If Osinbajo hasn't got a plan to come into exile, he dare not resign, even though he might not be happy staying there. He would rather be safe staying put, because that way he's not protesting against them. His resignation, if he dare protest against a draconian regime, which unfortunately he has found himself in, the result might not be good, unfortunately.
Thank you, Tunji. Nat, is it possible we add something to it in 30 seconds? What can you say to that? Where is the Vice President of Nigeria? Oath of silence, or is afraid something may happen if he should resign?
Well, this is a constitutional challenge to us as Nigerians. There's a provision for the office of the Vice President in the Constitution, but there are no responsibilities attached to it, no schedule of duty. He serves at the pleasure of the president, whoever is at that moment. And this is what has happened to Oshobajo. The Constitution provides that he is only chairman of one or two statutory bodies, the one that deals with state governance and the economy, and then National Boundary Commission. And so that's the power that he has. And in the Nigerian parlance, any deputy or any vice is a spare tire. And unless there is a puncture in the 4 tires of any vehicle, you don't need a spare tire. And this is what is happening.
All right. Thank you very much. We have very few minutes to come to the end of this program, but someone has said that Africans do things better than Europeans. And I think I agree with such a person, especially when you look at this clip. How else do you report weather without putting some emotional energy? So this is Weather Report from Ben Television and how it should be reported. Watch this space.
A lot of rain will be pouring down, kind of wah, wah. And when it is pouring down, it is going to be bumping into peoples of Malawi and borders. Kind of wah, then people will be the water will evaporate when the heat has come down. Once the water has evaporated, it goes up in the sky. When it goes up in the sky, the water will condense again. Then
can you please repeat that, studio? Please repeat that. I didn't get some of this. I want my British fellow citizens to see how we report weather and so how you get ready. Please give
a lot of rain will be pouring down, kind of wah, wah. And when it is pouring down, it is going to be bumping into peoples of Malawi and borders. Kind of wah, then people will be the water will evaporate when the heat has come down. Once the water has evaporated, it goes up in the sky. When it goes up in the sky, the water will condense again. Then
Dr. Judy, let me just thank you for coming to the show. We thank you for everything you have done to be here. We are very grateful for coming, and I'm sure very soon we'll have you back. Tunji, you are here with us in England. We have to thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed how we give weather report right now. We have to put all the emotional energy in it. That's just how to give weather report. You can't just do it. To my colleagues, Godsin and Nat, it's been a wonderful time. Maybe I should give you 10 seconds each to hear your last take. Ladies, for 10 seconds, what you want to say in 10 seconds, ma'am?
I want to do the weather report next time, please. It's more exciting.
Thank you. Tuji, what's your last take for 10 seconds? What would you like to say?
Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. Mazi, in 10 seconds.
Well, I want to appreciate that the fact has come for Nigerians to know that it is their time to make a difference. And I wish them all the best. I see you, Dr. Judy, in Abuja soon. God bless.
Oh, thank you. And now, last but not the least.
All hands must be on deck to salvage Nigeria.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's how far we can go today. The program is You Decide. Until next Wednesday, when we'll bring you the latest issues across the globe. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sirs. And thank you for our viewers. We'll always give you the best. This is Ben Television.